7 significant stadiums. Before we proceed, we would ask you to subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications for more interesting facts. Stadiums have their roots in ancient Greece, where they were a place for footraces. Modern stadiums are home to a much wider variety of sports and purposes. Here are 7 significant ones. Number 1. Estadio do Maracana. The first impression on visiting Rio de Janeiro's Estadio Jornalista Mario Filho, more commonly known as Estadio do Maracana, Maracana Stadium, after the Rio de Janeiro neighborhood in which it is located, is its sheer size. It is one of the biggest football, soccer, grounds in South America. When it was built for the World Cup in 1950, however, it could hold significantly more spectators than it does today. The final of that year's World Cup between Uruguay and Brazil attracted officially 173,830 fans, although some estimates put the actual attendance at close to 210,000, a record attendance at a World Cup match and one that is unlikely to be broken. Brazil lost the game in a shock defeat, and soccer-mad Brazilians still remember the upset as the Maracanazo, the Maracana blow. The stadium, which was designed by 2 Brazilian architects, Rafael Galvão and Pedro Paulo Bernardes Bastos, has also been used for exhibition matches for other sports, as well as for a mass conducted by Pope John Paul II and as a regular concert venue. The stadium's raison d'etre, however, remains soccer, and, appropriately, it is inextricably linked with one of Brazil's, and indeed the world's, greatest players, Pelé. It was here that he made his debut for the national team against Argentina in 1957, scored the 1,000th goal of his career in 1969, and played his last game for Brazil against Yugoslavia in 1971. Number 2. Berlin Olympic Stadium. The Nazis were determined to make the 1936 Berlin Olympics a memorable showcase for Aryan physical superiority, and with this in mind the architect Werner March was commissioned to build the massive stadium, Olympiastadion, the centerpiece of a sports complex in the Grunewald forest to the west of Berlin. As well as the Central Olympic Stadium, there was a vast athletics field, the Maifeld, with a capacity of 500,000, the Waldbahn Amphitheater that held 25,000 spectators, and more than 100 other buildings to accommodate the various Olympic sports. After World War II the stadium was taken over by the British and became part of their military occupation headquarters, where it was used for general sporting activities as well as acting as the home for the local football, soccer, team, Hertha BSC Berlin. After the British withdrawal, the German authorities decided to redevelop the stadium. A new high-tech stadium was opened in 2004 and used as one of the main venues for soccer's 2006 World Cup. Number 3. 1896 Olympic Stadium. One of the world's most historic and ancient cities, Athens is home to 2 Olympic stadiums. It is a city that has embraced the new and the old alike, and within its glittering midst rise shining, modern buildings alongside ancient classical monuments. The first documented evidence of the Olympic Games dates back to 776 BCE, though they had probably been in existence for many years before that. The Games were held every 4 years until they were abolished by either Emperor Theodosius I, in 394 CE, or by his grandson Theodosius II, in 435 CE, on the grounds of paganism. The Games were revived in 1896, and the site of the classical Panathinaiko Stadium in Athens, which seated 50,000 spectators, was the location chosen for the new stadium. Number 4. Hampden Park. In Scotland, as in England, football, soccer, developed out of a ferocious game played across the country by huge numbers. At the first Scotland-England match on record, in 1599, one player was, reportedly, disemboweled and sewn back up again. Modern-style soccer clubs developed in the later 19th century, and the Glasgow amateur club Queen's Park, founded in 1867, dominated Scottish soccer until eclipsed by the rival professionals of Glasgow Rangers and Glasgow Celtic, founded in the 1870s and 1880s. Number 5. Rose Bowl. Some 10 miles, 16 kilometers, northeast of downtown Los Angeles is the town of Pasadena, California, which juts up against the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains. The town's name means of the valley. It is a beautiful area with a thriving tourist season, but it is perhaps best known for its annual Tournament of Roses parade and the Rose Bowl Stadium. The Rose Bowl Stadium has a seating capacity of more than 90,000 people and continues to hold prestigious sporting events. It is one of the most historic of the great U.S. stadiums and remains one of the most elegant. Number 6. Wrigley Field. The large expanse of green on the north side of Chicago that makes up Wrigley Field is in fact relatively small for a baseball stadium, and the historic site is one of the smallest active baseball stadiums in the United States. It is located in the largely residential area of Lakeview, but the neighborhood is more commonly referred to as Wrigleyville. Numerous baseball traditions have started up at Wrigley Field, including singing the national anthem before a game and the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Number 7. Melbourne Cricket Ground. Australia is famously a sports-mad nation, and there is no more famous sports ground in the country than the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the MCG as it is affectionately known. Although little remains of its original structure, the ground embodies the history of sport in Australia. The Melbourne Cricket Club, MCC, was founded in 1838 and was granted the land on which the club now stands in 1853, when it was forced to move from its former site to make way for Australia's first steam train. An 1876 stand, now long gone, was reversible, allowing spectators to watch cricket at the ground in summer or football, soccer, in the park in winter. Only the historic members' stand now remains, because the ground has been consistently redeveloped and expanded over the years to a seating capacity of about 100,000 people.